Hello, everybody. It is great to be here one more time today. My name is Gary Fowler. I'm the CEO, president, founder of GSD Get You Done Venture Studios, a premier AI and quantum venture studio located in Silicon Valley. I am the host of Simplenight Presents. I am a serial entrepreneur. I've been building startups for a long time, over 35 years. And it's my pleasure to be here and my pleasure to introduce our incredible guest. Eric Pelletier is a serial entrepreneur, a seasoned veteran of consulting, a startup kind of guy. He's actually dialing in today, calling in from Paris, France. And with that, I'd like to bring Eric on board. Hi, Eric. How are you today?
Hi, Gary. It's a pleasure to be back.
Yeah, I hear the kids in the background. It sounds like it's a nice day in Paris.
It's an absolutely stunning day, blue sky, spring. The park just reopened, and all the kids are playing.
No, it's great to see you. So, let's jump into this thing on the Simple Night side. So, if we look at it, so what really sets Simple Night apart from traditional booking platforms or travel agencies, Eric? What do you think's like that differentiator? What makes it so incredibly special?
I think to answer fully the question, we need to take two angles: one from a user standpoint, and one from a provider standpoint. So, from the user standpoint, the some of the key benefits is one, it recognizes you as you start working with the app. The app knows you more and more, learns about you through AI. So it progressively is able to fully personalize the experience. Now, when once it have that, you see the variety of potential providers it gives you access to. So it's a very, very rich offering. So it goes way beyond what the Booking or Expedia would do. And also the way the guys there have built it, it gives you access to stuff you wouldn't usually see. Um, there are a few features that I find very interesting in the sense that it really helps you uh, build your own package, your own vacation, your own experience, your own business trip. Um, there's a scheduling thing which makes sure that what you do is make sense, provides you all the information you need. So that's from a customer perspective, it's a very, very powerful thing. And one thing that at least I'm European. We obsess a bit about privacy. Um, the cool thing about Simple Night is that there are no hidden deals behind it. Because when Booking or whichever firm makes a recommendation, you never know what's truly behind it. In this case, what's truly behind it is your hyper personalized profile. So it's all about you. So that's from the a customer standpoint. From the provider standpoint, what you see more and more, you got organizations like governments, tourism boards, companies that want to create events, and they want to get providers connected to that event in a way that's fully integrated for the customers. So, to be concrete, you're a tourism board of a country. You want to get all your local providers there, but you also want to add a layer that actually advertises the country, and you specify the layer what it looks like. And this is really literally plug and play. So you get all the providers you need, you just plug them in the system, and the system runs. So this is incredibly powerful whenever you want to run a campaign, an event, or just broadly advertise your country or your region.
No, you're right about it. I mean, the unique ability to be able to aggregate multiple categories and unique experiences that you typically wouldn't see, like swimming with the dolphins, uh, going to a concert to see Bon Jovi. Those multiple categories of travel and entertainment under one single umbrella is really powerful. And we don't do that. Think about the experience you have today. You book a flight, you book a hotel, but it doesn't know who you are and the kind of things that you like. And these traditional platforms really concentrate on one thing, right? Hotels or flights. But being able to offer anything all in one, from accommodation and transportation to fine dining experiences. And, I want to go to a Michelin rated restaurant and I want to do it in Singapore, right? And having that experience. And then, by the way, I want to play pickleball that evening. So that ability to integrate with a global distribution system and local operators, from one side, most of the time they're doing the global distribution systems, but it's really for those unique experiences, you have to have those local operators and those unique um, experiences to be able to keep and up to date, right? You don't want to go over and you're going to go riding on an elephant and find out that the place is closed, right? You want to have those unique, continuously sensing unique experiences. But that comprehensive approach, I mean, that's the way it's going to be, right? We talk about solving the problem of infobesity in a hyper personalized way. It's the same thing with travel. People get on a plane today, they book a flight on Delta. Well, it should know that you like to sit in the right hand side of the plane up front in first class. Why doesn't it do that? Automatically just set you up. Hey, listen, would you like the first or second row? Instead of wasting your time. Then once you land, it knows you like to go to the Hilton Hotel down in Mountain View. Why doesn't it just go out and book it and get you the VIP rate, right? Because it's gonna, and it's fascinating how this is changing. But let's look at it. So, the benefits for business. How does Simple Night help businesses both large and small, in terms of from your perspective?
But when you're a provider, so you taking your example, swimming with dolphins, and you're based in the Bahamas. It's very difficult to get global reach compared to the size. You got four divers and a couple of boats and stuff. I mean, you don't have the critical mass to advertise in in Saudi Arabia, in Japan, and in Canada. So the ability to gain access to an environment where suddenly you become global, and that environment recognizes what you do. So it's actually an incredibly marketing tool because the environment will give me access to all the people who, through the knowledge the system has gained about their taste, it will be able to push it to the right people. And it does it once again in a way that's actually neutral. So the system is not pushing for this because it's got a special deal. It pushes for that because it knows that you would enjoy the experience. So I've taken the example of a small mom and pop shop, but actually it works for all sizes. The issue today is in the field there it's very difficult to understand the large diversity of options. There are so many options. So a system that actually curates that for you in a neutral way is actually very interesting. And once again, so now I'm a large scale provider. I have access to a system, although I have my own system. Of course, I would as a large scale provider, but this gives me an extra layer, and this provides element I'm not providing. Maybe the concierge in some hotel somewhere does provide it, but it's not provided on a global scale because of the complexity of plugging in all the various options. So I think there are two main elements: the plug and play side, um, and the global exposure it provides you with.
Yeah, I mean, the increased visibility, bring it into a global platform, both local and global experiences, right? Be a bit ability to do real time bookings, where it can do it 24/7, reducing staff requirements and work. The insights that you talked about, the analytics and reporting tools that can show the customer behavior, the popular products, or what to do, right? Unique experience for you, the kind of things that you like, right? You're going to buy more of what you like. So where's the peak booking times? What are the peak booking times to book it? And then the other thing that sometimes we forget about is these real cross marketing opportunities where you can, because business are grouped, alongside related offerings, it's often driven cross selling. For example, someone that's in a city tour may not see a special rate at a local restaurant or theater. Why not put that in front of them? Or this Michelin rated restaurant that has this special wine that you don't get to find every place, right? It's just going to, because it is hyper personalized. And it's fascinating, isn't it, Eric? Because that's not just for booking travel and these experiences, for booking everything. We're looking for these kind of experiences everywhere. That engine driven, omni-channel engine driven experience, because that's what we're missing. We have so much out there, so many choices, we don't find the things that are right for us.
No, absolutely. And going back to your example, the swimming with the dolphins. So you do that in a given location, and then, well, actually, it will tell you there are a couple of nice beach bars or beach restaurants near it. And actually, the only way to get it is to take a taxi there, and it can set it up for you. So this is incredibly powerful. That's a service that is not available today. Um, the other thing that to me is very important, is the we all know that traveling has gotten incredibly painful. On the one hand, it's a lot cheaper than before. You got an incredible amount of destinations you can go to, but as we know, it's very painful. It's painful at the airport if you take a plane, but in even before that, it's painful in the reservation process, because, as you mentioned, it doesn't remember you. It should have known by now that you want to be seated in that specific row on the plane, that you have access to that loyalty program, in with Hilton, all these things, and what Simple Night does, it actually brings back some of the fun, because when you think of it, part of the pleasure, it's in many things. Part of pleasure is anticipation. Um, so if you can make the reservation process, the building up your own personal package, something nice, something interesting, something you really want to, then that's a winner. It's very different. And then you can go on TripAdvisor or Expedia. I mean, there's no pleasure there. Um,
Well, I mean, they're not unique experiences either. I'm booking a flight and that's it, right? I'm going down through and booking a hotel and that's it. But why not create it so that it knows you and the kind of hotel you like?
yeah,
You'd
and
want to be down to the seaside in Santa Cruz in California for the weekend. It knows that you like that, and it books a reservation at a bike rental place so you can go riding bikes or whale watching.
yeah, and it knows you. It will know you that you may want to spend a day fishing sea bass, but that your wife would like to spend the day at a spa.
That's exactly right. And
Yeah,
how much it's going to cost you? And there's a VIP rate that you can take advantage of because you're a Hilton member,
yeah,
right? And it's fascinating. So let's talk about it. So let's look at collaboration with the local governments. If we look at it, what kind of an impact is this going to have on local tourism boards and government agencies, to be able to go and promote destinations and manage visitor workflow, right, or visitor flow? So how does that? What do you think? I mean, does this kind of like the holy grail, right, of being able to figure it out? Because the one thing the governments do, they don't have a clue what's happening. They see that there's visitor flow, but why is the visitor flow there? How can they develop their infrastructure and marketing campaigns and public services? That's another thing. How do you know to do that? And invest in things that people want.
yeah. You're very right. And if you look at tourism, there are essentially two different situations. You got established destinations like France or Italy or Spain, um, Mexico, that are very mature from that standpoint. But with maturity comes the issue is they may have too many tourists in a given spot. The standard example is Dubrovnik, that since Game of Thrones is completely overwhelmed with tourists, you get that issue with Venice, you get that issue in some neighborhoods in Paris. And the local tourism boards or governments are now trying to convince tourists to go to other locations around it to manage the flow. So, in terms of existing flow, being able to manage that flow because you understand what people really want and you've got the ability to push a different offering. There is some
Yeah, yeah,
vineyard.
that's exactly right because
Yeah,
you understand what they want, that what they the hyper in a hyper personalized way, the kind of things they want, and so
yeah,
you can highlight that particular other region of the benefits of going there because it's the kind of things that they want. Maybe there's another restaurant that's not quite Michelin rated, but it's coming up and it could be interesting for them, and there happens to be a slot open for reservation. Wouldn't that be interesting?
yeah. And it goes with the trend that the other thing these countries are trying to do is upscale their customer base and get them to spend more money, but you've got to give them the opportunity. So that's on the established destination side. On the emerging destination, and you think about the Gulf countries, Saudi Arabia, Philippines, and lots of countries that have reached a high level of development, they need to get themselves established. And they know they're competing against the Eiffel Tower and the Rialto Bridge, so it's difficult. The ability to provide something that's integrated, that makes it a fun experience, that people realize, okay, I didn't know about the Philippines, but actually now I realize there's all these incredible things to do. And you see that there are promo videos usually try to show the different experience. But the issue you get is that these videos, by nature, are highly generic because you see people running on the beach and then they're on the boat and then they look to be in a beautiful restaurant. Um, so what? Everybody's got that. So once you have the ability to package the thing through that interface, then you are able to really manage your tourism and then you emerge. So that from a marketing standpoint, this is a hugely powerful tool for the provider aggregator.
Yeah, it's powerful. I mean, it allows them to be able to highlight, those local attractions or special events and integrate those into the platform. It's just it just what's going to happen is you get what you want, so you're going to buy more of it, right? And you're going to understand what the peak seasons are, what the popular destinations are, what the emerging travel patterns are, so you can provide the right infrastructure to be able to support it. Wouldn't it be bad if you say, oh, we've got this great Dubrovnik and they've got a 2-lane highway coming into it, and they don't have enough hotels or motels to be able to support it, and you've got to figure out what do we do in order to be able to support that ecosystem. It's fascinating.
It's a very good point. If you look at many, so the popular destinations, a lot of them have an issue with the number of rooms that are available, either directly through hotels or through Airbnb. And the regulation of these hotel rooms is a big issue. You see examples in Barcelona where the local population is violently against tourism now because it's increased the prices of normal real estate. So if you have that tool that gives you this information and you really get a sense of how people build their experience, then you're able to do two things: manage better the amount of rooms you need in given location, and as I mentioned before, try to reorientate some flow towards new experiences.
In terms of economic development, Simple Night's going to provide a incredible role can potentially provide a role in helping governments partner. And so, if you look at it, Simple Night can serve as an engine for that growth, helps with visibility, as you said, and helps drive visitors to areas. It optimizes the area, right? Because you can take less discovered areas and move it. So if you're in Dubrovnik and there happens to be a neighboring town where there's Airbnbs, it can put people in that neighboring town and basically help grow those areas. You can identify which areas aren't growing and then basically, make sure you got the supply to do that. The tourism revenue can go beyond a major urban area, uh, and at the same time, those analytics can help understand. Okay, this is a good pitch for hotel chains. We need more accommodations or transport links, and go out and sell them. I mean, it becomes a tool as a data to help sell people to why to come in. I mean, it's just like it's hyper intelligence on steroids, isn't it?
Yeah, because the issue is, if okay, you're a tourism board, and I know actually how it works. My sister works for the one in Antibes, so I get stories about how actually tourism boards work. They have very limited access to information, because when people start looking at the hotels in Antibes, the tourism board doesn't know about it, and this is a piece of information they would need. Um, when people look at booking a restaurant, they don't have that information. So if you provide the integrated layer, then you see really how people go about building their experience. It allows you to tailor the experience. And from an organizational standpoint, we need to promote this more. We need to lower the promotion on this because it's peak management. So if you want to make a comparison, this allows you in some ways to do yield management, like what the airlines discovered 30 years ago. Actually, now you start developing it on a city level or on the country level, and you allocate your resources in a much,
Yeah,
much.
exactly. I mean, it brings intelligence to the process, doesn't it?
Yeah,
And so the governments have that intelligence to help them allocate resources wisely and not waste them. And the travelers, the businesses, are getting more business because of it, and the travelers are having experience that are hyper personalized for them that they want to have. It's a win-win-win all the way around.
yeah. Now, take another example. That's a big situation in Greece. So some places like Santorino. So I remember Santorino 40 years ago was essentially, only a few people knew about it.
Mhm.
Now it's massive, massive. And you realize Santorino is completely saturated by tourists. And then there's many islands around it that are empty. It's bad. It's bad for everybody. I mean, you don't want to be with the crowds. You want to, steady development of all your assets. So from an aggregator perspective, this is hugely powerful. This is just the beginning of a new way of managing your tourism assets. We're focused on tourism, but you can see easily that this applies to many other situations.
Well, I mean, that's it. We haven't. I mean, you look at it, we don't have a handle on what we have. And so this gives us an insight into it and tells us how to reallocate based on wants and needs, doesn't it? It changes that omni-channel engine. It changes everything. And you look at it, if you look at it from a marketing and brand awareness perspective, where do you think, I mean, how powerful is having a tool like this for those governments and for those businesses from your perspective?
To me, if I were running a tourism board, I would do it immediately, because this will provide me with the information I need. This will enable me to build an experience for potential customers. That this will help me, help my providers uh, because usually when you're a tourism board, you've got stakeholders that are the various providers. So with this, I'm showing, okay, we're doing something together. We're helping you. We're creating a layer of global marketing that you do not have access to. So when you're a provider, you're vertical, and you need someone to provide the horizontality, and Simple Night does that.
Yeah, you're right. It's you're vertical and what we need to do is change it so that we're not just vertical, we're horizontal, and we're going down through and looking at everything, right? And it's very, very interesting. And we haven't approached travel like that. We've approached travel in these silos for all kinds of different reasons, but we should base it on it's all based on what the user's experience is, isn't it? What kind of experience they have as a traveler, and how the businesses can help them to have better experiences, so they want to do it more, right? You have a great experience going to Dubrovnik, and your example, and the probability you're going to do it again is goes way up, doesn't it? It changes everything.
Yeah. Yeah, if you think about historically the providers, the reason why it's not happening is those providers. If you're Delta, you want to privilege the airfare. You want to privilege the actual traveling. You will be offering stuff around it, but as you expand the sphere, it becomes less and less relevant because it doesn't have enough information. Most of the providers are going in that direction. They're trying to expand, but it doesn't work because you could always question why they're doing this, what deals do they have. So having that layer, I mean, really changes the travel game completely.
If you look at it, and talk about the success stories, just painting a picture, imagine a small coastal town in France that saw a dip in tourism during an off peak season. And by listing these local experiences like winery visits, fishing tours, farm to table cooking classes, they could dramatically extend their tourist season, attract a entirely different kind of traveler. What does that do for that area, right? Local hotels and restaurants can benefit by bundling these experiences. The town could increase, tourism 20-30% off season bookings, just because they've extended the season by offering what people want.
Yeah, and to me, there are two aspects to what you're saying. One is peak management. So in essence, you're doing yield management, but for a whole ecosystem, not just an airline or a hotel. This is incredibly powerful. So you can extend your season. You have access. People don't do the same stuff in the various seasons. That's one thing. And then two, it actually gives you the ability to steer things instantly. So I'll take an example. Um, with the current situation between the US and Canada, Canadian tourists have decided to go a whole lot less to the US. And there's one location that's directly affected. It's Maine. I think Senator Collins mentioned the fact that they have an issue that tourism in Maine collapsed. So if you're the Maine tourism board, you want to be able to very quickly repackage what you have and start promoting it elsewhere and do it instantly. So this is, an amazing thing because,
Sounds like it's a place for simple night.
yeah, absolutely. And Maine is a lovely place. So
Yeah, I agree. So we're coming to the top of the show, Eric. Closing thoughts and how do people get a hold of you?
clothing thoughts is, this is really change. It's a game changer. I know a lot of companies say they are. This one really is because it's introducing new tools, personalization, um, understanding the customers, having those data flows that are very, very useful. Be you're being a provider, a customer, or the integrator. So I think this is truly exciting, and it's on its way to become absolutely massive. reaching me, you can do that at eric.pelletier at gsdvs.com. And please do.
No, it's great to see you. Thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule, Eric. And thanks to all my audience for joining one more time. Simple Nights Presents. My name is Gary Fowler. I'm your host. Stay happy, stay safe, and stay healthy. And we'll be back to you again next week with another exciting edition. Take care, everybody. Have a great weekend. And Eric, it's good seeing you as always.
Thank you.